What is the electric vehicle boom? Parts and raw materials. Do your research before you invest. Parts and raw materials. Cast a wide net. From blue-chip stocks to startups. Do your research before you invest. Key takeaways: with government policies and high levels of investment boosting electric vehicle (EV) production, many investors are looking to learn about this market. The market includes the cars, parts, raw materials, and infrastructure. There is broad participation from startups and newly public companies to the automotive giants making inroads in EVs. Many parts of the EV market are still relatively speculative, and investing involves market risk, so investors should conduct their own research in the EV market to understand the risks. Contributors Megan Werner, editorial staff, J.P. Morgan Wealth Management. When you hit the road, are you behind the wheel of an electric vehicle EV? Although EVs have been cruising American highways for nearly 20 years, the EV market has recently experienced a growth spurt. One global EV sales grew significantly, marking a 20% increase in 2024.2. Additionally, in Q1 2025, EV sales grew by 35% compared to Q1 2024.3. The International Energy Agency projects that this trend will continue, and that EV sales in the U.S. could account for almost 1/4 of total passenger car sales by 2035.4. EV production has been boosted by the government and investors alike. Former President Joe Biden had set the goal that half of all vehicles sold in the U.S. by 2030 be either fully electric or hybrid, and companies invested nearly $85 billion into the EV industry in 2021 and 2022.5. As of 2024, there were more than 190,000 charging stations in the U.S. 6, but if EV production ramps up as projected, there will be a pressing need for many more. However, it is unclear how President Donald Trump's policies will impact the industry. 7. With all these factors in play, it's easy to see why many investors are eager to learn about the EV market. Parts and raw materials. If you want to understand where to put your money within the EV industry, you may want to start with looking under the hood. It's important you have a sense of what parts and materials are needed to make and power electric vehicles, so you have the full picture of where your investment can go. Batteries are the most integral part of an EV, so what makes up a battery? Lithium is a key metal in EV batteries. In fact, the majority of manufacturers of EVs and plug-in hybrid cars use lithium-ion batteries. There's also copper, nickel, iron, silver, aluminum, and several others. These materials are crucial for creating electric vehicles and are expected to increase in demand as EVs do. 8 companies involved in mining and processing the aforementioned materials are another important piece of the EV industry. With metal prices on the rise for crucial metals like lithium, EV companies are investing in bolstering their supply chain. There is also a need for more mines as demand for electric vehicles continues to rise. Cast a wide net. From blue-chip stocks to startups. You don't have to invest in an electric vehicle company to invest in electric vehicles. Certainly, you can look to legacy automakers as you make your investment given the expectation that they will be releasing new EVs to market in the coming decade. However, you can also look at startups, foreign companies, and companies that are just going public. Also, don't forget to look at companies in the charging infrastructure space that manage everything from the construction of physical charging stations to overseeing the rollout of charging networks that can operate seamlessly across the country. Do your research before you invest. At this point in time, it's difficult to determine which specific companies are best positioned in the EV market. There are a lot of players in the industry, and it's hard to discern which ones may rise to the top of the heap in the coming years. This is part of what makes investing in the EV industry risky, but it may be worthwhile for investors willing to put some time into research and building a diversified EV portfolio. Keep in mind that not all EV companies are created equal. Some are further along with their technology and developments than others. Do your homework to find out which companies are best positioned for the future. Many EV stocks are still highly speculative and can be suitable for investors who have a higher risk tolerance. Exchange-traded funds, ETFs, are an option for gaining exposure to a variety of securities in the EV world, including battery makers and clean energy companies, alongside tech companies that make the communications and charging systems that EVs require to function. While some ETFs are comprised exclusively of companies that are just looking to expand into the EV world, others allow investment into blue-chip legacy automotive stocks.
Skip to main
ETFs offer
content.
streamlined
Explore our
diversification,
brands.
thus exposing you to
DJIA
less risk.
46,000, 315.270.37%, S&P 506,000, 664.360.49%, NASDAQ 22,600, 31.480.72%, VIX 15.45, minus 1.59%, US 10-year 4.131%, crude oil 62.7, 20.06%, gold 3,719.400.37%, Bitcoin 115,699.44, minus 0.08%, computers, electronics tech, stocks, tech stocks. It's the hottest chip stock you've probably never heard of. And it just soared 30% in a week. Rambus is a memory chip company exposed to AI and data centers, and an analyst sees its semiconductor revenue growing 40% this year. By Brittany Nguyen, follow published, September 17, 2025 at 10:46 a.m. Eastern Time. Rambus's stock has climbed almost 30% in the past week. Rambus's stock has climbed almost 30% in the past week. Photo. MarketWatch photo illustration / Rambus. iStock photo reference symbols RMBS minus 4.68%. The role of memory chip makers in the artificial intelligence boom is getting more investor appreciation, highlighting stocks that aren't typically part of mainstream conversations. Rosenblatt analyst Kevin Cassidy just highlighted the recent momentum in shares of Rambus Incorporated, RMBS minus 4.68%, which have climbed almost 30% over the past week, as Wall Street has come around to the importance of dynamic random access memory and Rambus's leadership in that market. See more. Micron's stock is heading for its best winning streak since 2019. Here's why. Add loading 00:00/05:16. What's next for Nvidia, AMD, and Micron amid tariffs and export curbs? Rambus designs high-performance semiconductors and other products, including interface chips for transferring data between memory components and processors, such as graphics processing units. Its products are also used in security solutions and automobiles. Cassidy said he and his team anticipated that Rambus's stock would climb even more as Wall Street got more clarity on an accounting matter, which ended up playing out. But even with the recent rally, the analysts still see plenty of room to run for the stock. They lifted their price target to $130 from $90 in a Wednesday note, with the new target 34% above Tuesday's close. In the analyst's view, Rambus remains a pure-play leader in data center DRAM. They noted the company's large portfolio of memory components, such as graphics double data rate, or GDDR, a type of high-performance memory that can transfer large amounts of data fast for gaming, AI, and other intense tasks. Based on recent announcements about data center deployments, the analysts said demand for Rambus's products should last through 2026 and 2027. The analysts said they expect Rambus's semiconductor revenue to grow 40% year-over-year in 2025. The business is expected to grow 20% in 2026, the analyst said, on increasing dollar content per server and more servers being shipped. Cassidy said that Rosenblatt's long-term investment thesis for Rambus has been around how DRAM is becoming increasingly crucial to AI deployment. He said that the thesis is playing out above our expectations. The analysts noted that new licensing agreements helped with aligning certain industry rules on revenue recognition. The matter previously had been an overhang on the stock's valuation, Cassidy said. About the author, Brittany Nguyen follow. Brittany Nguyen is a tech reporter covering NVIDIA, chips, and AI. You can find her on X at @BrittanyCath. Partner Center, What to Read Next. Micron's hot streak is ending, but here's what matters next for the stock. Continue to article. Micron stock is heading for its best winning streak since 2019. Here's why. Continue to article quantum stocks are hot again. Here's what's behind their explosive rally. Continue to article show conversation. 1. Advertisement, back to top copyright. 2025, MarketWatch, Inc. All rights reserved. Terms of use. Updated privacy, notice cookie. Notice download from the App Store. Download from the Google Play Store. Intraday data provided by FactSet and subject to terms of use. Historical and current end-of-day data provided by FactSet. All quotes are in local exchange time. Real-time last sale data for U.S. stock quotes reflect trades reported through NASDAQ only. Intraday data delayed at least 15 minutes or per exchange requirements.